I'm Dave Williams, the Legislative Director for the Association of Washington Cities. On January 14th, we will go into a legislative session that will last at least 105 days, possibly longer. In early December, our Board of Directors adopted our final legislative priorities. These issues had been worked on and vetted through a legislative development process involving an 80-person or so legislative committee. We took several months finding out what cities cared about, and the board adopted our legislative priorities for the upcoming session. They are, number one, ensure that there's fiscal flexibility and sustainability. Last year, the legislature took liquor money away from you. Our job is to get it back. The legislature will also consider a bill that we're introducing that would allow you to continue to have flexibility on the use of lodging tax revenues. And also, we're going to be making sure that the legislature doesn't interrupt the way you currently raise money and use money at the local level, such as communities who have a business and occupation tax, making sure that you still have the authority on how to use that, how to spend that. The second priority is to make sure that we have tools available to you to foster and invest in infrastructure and economic development. Transportation revenue, transportation options on how you raise money at the local level, critically important. Whether or not the legislature will get into working on transportation issues this session or not, we're not sure. But our job is to prepare a package, positions, so that we can interact with all the stakeholders who are involved in coming up with any future transportation package to make sure that there's shared revenue from any kind of increase in a gas tax, as well as new and usable tools for local options so you can raise the money you need to maintain the system you've got. We also are making sure, or try to make sure, that the state in their efforts to balance their budget don't go into some critical infrastructure funds such as the Public Works Trust Fund, the Model Toxic Control Act Fund, or other things where there's revenue available for cities to apply for grants. Very few loans, most of them grants that we pay back, low interest loans, to build critical infrastructure and provide jobs and economic opportunity in our communities. We're very concerned that there will be attempts to sweep those funds to solve the state's problem. Lastly, we want to have legislation that helps ensure that you can provide efficient and adequate services within your cities. We have a number of cities who've talked to us for many years. Isn't there something that we can do to curb abusive public records requests? We will continue to work and strive to find you some relief in that area. We also are going to make sure to identify for the legislature if there are mandates that they think are important for you to implement, that you have some sort of support revenue to help you meet your mandate requirements. An example that we've used over the last several years has to do with funding of stormwater for our 100 or so cities that are involved in that program. We'll continue to seek funds for that. And lastly, we will continue to have a conversation with the state about how can we best manage personnel costs. Like the state, our main costs of providing services to communities are with the people in our communities who provide those services. So we will be looking at ways, if possible, to fine-tune the binding interest arbitration statutes for uniform services and try to figure out ways that you can control your costs better at home. You have budget challenges, the state has budget challenges. We have new leadership in Olympia, we have a new governor, we have a new structure. We're not quite sure how it's all going to work, but when they come to town on the 14th of January, we're going to be there ready to make the case, tell your story. I'd ask you that you tell your story to your legislators before they come to town. Make sure that you have an opportunity to chat with them before they come to town on the 14th of January. And we'll start communicating with you weekly. Look for our legislative bulletins. If you have thoughts, suggestions, comments, please let me know. Thank you.